this took so long to set up. I don't think you guys understand how long it took to set up. It's been 3 hours trying to set up this podcast. Andrew, what was the first question?
So first question, how do you guys define success and what's true success to you guys?
So I think success is very subjective. It all depends on person to person. Personally, I believe success is reaching a standard in my life where I have monetary freedom, I have time freedom to put towards family, towards work, and doing things I like.
But don't you think the stress of trying to be perfect will kill you before the imperfections do?
Well, I honestly don't think you can be perfect in general, but you gotta like keep getting step by step closer to perfection.
So you're
and
chasing that like
it's an
end
active
goal.
chase. Yeah, it's an active like progression.
So you'll never get there. It's like
Yeah.
like almost like unlimited, like out of reach. But like you're trying to get to that close, that point as
It's-
close as much as you can.
It's
Let-
like the gym. Like the bigger you get, your pump
Yeah.
gets bigger, and then you're chasing that pump.
Yeah.
And then you work out more, and then you're chasing
And
that.
that pump's
again. So,
always gonna get bigger
yeah.
than
Now
you.
let me ask Aris a question. How you said about success and freedom.
Hmm.
Are you a successful person? Going back to the thing where you said where you might be making $2 million a year, but you don't have time. You consider yourself a successful person if, for example, you're making 10, 15 million net.
I mean, it depends on like again, like my definition of success is gonna be different than what someone else thinks. If in my eyes, success is not only just the money side of things and being like Andrew said, like being really good at the thing you're doing, but also the aspect of the freedom that comes along with it. Because if you have a lot of money, you're making a lot of money, you're really good in your career, but you don't have the freedom that comes with it. Because in the end, I think like the main goal in like our like life as a whole is just to be able to enjoy life and the freedom you have with it without have to be restricted to a certain time to do something that someone else tells you to do or whatever, or by a certain amount of money that stops you from doing what you want to do. I think success just is you being open to do whatever you want whenever you want, not being restricted to anything. But most people would honestly, I think, relate it to some sort of like money related topic.
If
So-
you're making $2 million a year and you have no time to like hang out with family or like your kids or whatever,
I don't think that's
you're
success.
miserable.
Yeah.
yeah,
You're
That's how I
you're
see it too.
miserable. Doesn't matter how much money you have, you're miserable. You're not in your kid's life. You're not in anyone's life. You're just working. You're just working to accomplish a goal and go and achieve a standard that you set for yourself that no one else is holding you accountable for.
And you know
It's
that's
just you. It's just ego.
and that's one thing that I kind of notice. I mean, we're still relatively young, but working so much and working towards our goals and grinding, um, I'm kind of getting to that point where I see that there needs to be a balance, work-life balance, where you do work, obviously, at the stage we're at in
You're
life.
opening up a can of worms. Continue.
Obviously, at the stage we're at in life, at our age, that work-life balance is going to be a little bit more skewed to the work, just because of our perception and understanding of success and the level of life we want to achieve. But as I do get older, when we were in high school, my only mindset was money, growing a business, doing better. But I think as we get older, I think we start to understand that there's a lot more to life than just monetary achievement. That's the relationships, that's the friendships you build, that's the people that you surround yourself with, your connection to God, or there's a lot deeper understanding to that
Yeah.
of and
Yeah.
meaning to success than just that monetary and
'Cause,
just
like,
constant work.
Cause here, go ahead.
Yeah. So, if I'm hearing you right, the older you're getting and the more you're kind of opening up to life, you're starting to feel that it's less about like money, even though money is like still a big factor because if you don't have money, you can't do most of the things you like, you can't take care of people you want to take care of, but you're starting to feel like that money only has a certain percentage of importance in you being successful.
Oh,
And
100%.
the relationships with people, friendships with people are just having a higher and higher like
Oh, 100%.
priority.
And it's the sad reality that we live in a world where money has to play such a big impact on the way we live our life. But I think the path that our society is headed down, you can't ignore the fact and completely just live off, friendships and having fun and enjoying life, because ultimately, if you don't have money, you're not able to do that.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
because doesn't matter. Like if you're, for example, you just like playing a sport, right? But when the end of the month comes, you have to pay your mortgage, you have to pay your car bill, and if
Exactly.
you can't do that, you're not gonna be happy. And if you're not happy, then you're not successful. Because I think that's like one of the first steps to being successful is being a happy individual.
Do you guys think there is a direct correlation of a successful person and the amount of stress they're able to handle?
Yes.
100%.
If you could handle a lot of stress, you could tolerate a lot of stressful situations, you'll be successful. If you break down at anything that comes your way, you're gonna get cooked.
Do you
You're
think
gonna get
every?
cooked.
Do you think every?
Imagine a business owner. Imagine, let's say Elon Musk. Well, how much shit does he do, right? He owns Tesla. He has a space company. He's owning like a bunch of other random companies. How much stress is that man under? He's also trying to go to Mars, by the way. How much stress is he under, and how successful is he? And how well can he handle stress? Because if you just get an average guy off the street and put him in his shoes, they'll crumble down instantly.
You know, I think I think
they'll have mental breakdowns.
I
They can't survive.
I think
So
every.
you have to have mental resilience.
I think there is some exception, like not to what you're saying, but I was gonna say, do you think there are some successful people who probably don't know how to tolerate stress, don't have that stress tolerance? And I was gonna say because, like, do you think there's also those exceptions or those people who like got successful so quick they didn't have to go through the stress portion, they just like got a good hit on their first run and made it big, and now like there's this thing I was reading about this rapper who like made it big on their first album they dropped, got like a billion, no, not billion, I don't know, big number, some big amount of like large amount of streams on their first album, and the next albums they released did not even come close to that
Now,
at
let
all,
me
like
ask
a
you this.
fraction. And then they realized like, so I have to perform better than that first hit that like their first, they didn't make bad albums continuously until that one blew up. Their first one was like blowing up blew up like huge. And they're like, oh, I have to like kind of do better than this if I want to pop off, or at least keep the same level, or else I'm like getting worse.
Now,
And
don't
so
you
it's like
think
it hit them
there's
with reality.
you don't think there's a level of stress when it comes to that? Him experiencing stress as in, oh, I made it big in order to maintain this.
Oh,
I
But
need
I
to
think
do
when you-
better.
I think when you
Yeah.
hit it big, you're not really thinking about that until it really hits you, until you start doing where it's like, oh shit, I'm not making it this big anymore.
No, he's handling the stress of having to.
The fall off.
It's a
No, no, no,
realization.
wait.
So I think for example, about that rapper who hit it big first and then like fell off, I think he goes through that stress portion later on. So it's like you have to go through stress to be successful either way. You can be the person that you know kind of got lucky and hit it big, and then you fall off, as we would say, and that's the time where you have to go through that stress of getting back up, trying to get to that level that you were
Yeah.
at. And then on the other hand, some people, it's a slower progression. They have to go through failure, and then slowly they get to become better and better and better. So they're kind of getting used to stress throughout the process. So I think either way, if you want to reach success, you do have to have very high stress tolerance, because stressful situations build strong people, and you just need to be strong to be successful. It's just very
This is
clear.
That rapper dude, he set an expectation for himself off of that album.
Yeah, exactly.
Now he has to live up to the stress of doing something as good as that album or
Exactly, yeah.
that song
That's what I
for the
said.
rest of his life, because this was insane, so everything else is expected to be
So-
also insane.
That's what I
So-
said.
And then when you get the same result, he's like, bro, what?
Yeah,
I
I'm
didn't get the
saying
same
that
result
guy
off
had
the first
to.
one.
That guy had to like deal with the stress after.
Yeah, because that was like a standard now. Like
Yeah.
that first podcast was like a standard.
So going back to when you said that standard, and based off of that
Bro,
podcast,
this podcast voice,
That-
I
that-
can't.
that my podcast voice.
Yeah. Going back to the.
Bro,
Well,
it
no,
doesn't matter.
no, that
Dude, as long as
video.
you're consistent, it
Bro,
doesn't
I
matter.
know,
shut the
it's so
hell
funny.
up.
Listen,
Shut up.
going back to
Bloopers.
going back,
Bloopers.
going back
They
to
should
the,
staying in.
going back to that video you sent me about the
What?
Chris Williamson,
Yeah.
and he was talking about a PR and that becoming your standard in the gym.
Yeah.
And now you have the stress, and it's when you hit that level, just like that rapper where
Dog, I'm stuck at 315.
when you're talking about that rapper and how he hit that, big money move, and he made a lot of money off that record or whatever. And Chris Williamson kind of put this in the gym perspective where, yeah, you hit that PR, you hit that all-time high, and you're happy and you're celebrating. But shortly after, you come to the realization that, oh, damn, this is the new standard I have to live up to. This is, this is my standard now. If I hit 315 in the gym during bench, now that's my standard. And
Guys,
feel
it's
like it's a-
literally 10:40 p.m. at night. We have to wake up in like what 6 hours and trade.
6
I'm
hours.
about to pass out anyway.
It's probably like halfway into the podcast. We have to kind of take everything apart, Dero has to go home, set everything back up
In my
and
room.
That's
All right, continue. Chris
back- okay,
Williamson,
so
PR bench
I was gonna
press.
say I feel like the gym is a little bit different though, cause this it's like saying you start off with 315 and then you just can't hit that PR anymore.
Okay, or I can put it
it's
in
because
this.
when you go to you don't start off at 315, you kind of work
Bro,
your
it's
way
like
up to
taking
that.
steroids like the first time you've ever gone to the gym ever.
Bro, it's like
and-
taking a magic pill that gives you like 315 in your first gym session, and the
Dog,
next one you're back at 185.
Magic pill. It's steroids. The first time you go to the gym, you get so big to the point where you're like, holy shit. You hop off steroids,
Yeah.
and now you're a little kid, and you're like, oh my god, I can't even do half of what I used to do, and you're just depressed now. You just lost all
Yeah.
motivation.
It's like a whole.
And then it, yeah,
go ahead.
yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, and then it's like a whole period where you just go through that. It's like all the like the fall off, like you kind of mentioned. You're just like down, and you're like realizing the kind of negatives and how you have to rewire your mindset and how you have to reset your standards and pretty much that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Continue.
I don't think talking about the gym is that different. I think it's like almost exactly the same with every other topic. For example, cars. We're all like big car guys, right?
Yeah.
We wouldn't want to go, for example, from a BMW to a Porsche. We can all agree that's a higher level car, right?
Yeah.
And then go back down to a BMW. It's not that a BMW is a bad car.
Well,
It's that your
actually,
standard.
excuse me. I went from an Audi S4, which is an Audi, to a BMW M8 Comp, and I'm going back to Audi.
Now
But
say
the
the rest
Audi
of the parts.
happens to be an
What
Audi
is the
R8.
Audi?
Yeah, well, exactly. So
It's like the best
It's just a
Audi you
standard
can
you
have.
place for yourself in your life. Once you hit a standard, it's anything like this. When monetary success, you make $100,000 a year, you want to keep working to achieve a higher level because you live a lifestyle that requires $100,000 a year, for example. Now, and then if you go downgrade and you're making $70,000 a year, it's not going to meet your needs. Same thing, or another example from the gym that doesn't include the gym, where Chris kind of said in his podcast was YouTube. You guys all do social media, where he posted a video and it hit 1.1 million views in 24 hours. That's his new standard now he has to meet in order to feel that excitement, feel that
Because as you
success.
progress higher, it's just the standard gets higher and higher, and when you fall back down, you're just like, bruh, like now you have to reset back to where I was just at, and you're just,
It's just a mental.
Bro, I post 3 videos of me driving POV a week. Two in a row, get like 20K views. I'm like, yeah.
because you got like 800K views, and then next video.
Not
if
that,
you-
like I posted 2 videos back to back. Each got 20K views in the first like 2 days. I posted one other video, it got like 1,000 views. I'm like, fuck.
yeah, because it's a standard, bro. It's a standard.
It's just like the whole human, like, I guess maybe we were coded like this to sort of just be able to keep progressing and keep surviving if we really want to go back in time, because you always want better and you always want more.
I don't
like
agree.
it doesn't matter if you're making $100,000 a month, you're gonna want more
Yeah,
I don't
because
agree.
you get
Yes, you
used
do.
to $100,000 a month. Right now, maybe making $150,000 a month like seems so crazy. Like I can do whatever I want, right? And that's true. But when you get to that point, the whatever you want to do becomes your regular. So when I walk out, I'm expecting there to be 5 supercars in my parking lot, I can't go back down. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for having a hypercar. For example, I know we keep talking about cars, but that's just what comes to my head. But
I mean,
it's
that's
just,
what we're all into.
yeah, that's what we're all into.
Our
but-
life is based around gym, cars, and work.
But that's like just the human eye. Always
Bro,
want more.
what my mom told me is, I'm like, well, she always told me like, oh, I'm proud of you, like where you came. But the one thing she said that she's scared for is, listen, you hit 50K a month, 100K a month, you're never gonna be like content.
Mm.
That's what I'm scared for, because you're gonna keep chasing and chasing more and more and more, and you'll never be happy with what you are.
Well, that goes back
Because
to
I hit every single goal I put for myself so far, 10K, 20K, 30K, 40K, and it's gonna keep going, and I'm never content. Because as you make more, your lifestyle goes up, and you start spending more. So if you go back down, you're like, oh shit, like I actually spent a lot this month. Like I can't afford that anymore. Like right now, you do whatever you want.
Yeah, I think what it comes down to at the end is obviously, again, money is very important, but you would have to try to find, I guess, happiness in things that are not money related, because we're always going to want money. I'm always going to want more money. You're always going to want more money, but the chase of that to some point like becomes crazy, right? And it's good. You're supposed to keep chasing more. But if you're, for example, you guys like really got into snowboarding recently, you're finding something that you enjoyed that is, again, kind of correlated to money, because
It
if you
costs
didn't have
money.
money, it is an expensive sport.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't be able to do that if you didn't have money. But it's not fully money related. You know, you just buy a board, you go, you enjoy the mountains, you enjoy your time, and it's just something that you really like doing. It's a part of your life that you really enjoy. So
Now,
it's you got to
Huh,
find
I
both sides, kind of.
want to ask something because I think
Yeah.
it's like the money is like an endless thing. Like when you hit a new level, it's like whatever you pursue. We're all more like we're all very competitive. Like whatever we do, we want to be the best at it,
Mm.
right? So when we're working and trying to make more and more money, make more monthly income, whatever, we're always chasing that new higher and higher goal. There's no limit. Like you can literally make $1,000,000,000 a month. You can be the first one to do it. Whatever.
I already
No
do.
one's done it yet. No, you haven't. Shut up. It's okay. One day. But
You just don't know about
One
it.
day or day one, guys.
You just don't know.
One day or day one.
but
This guy's
Yes.
sleeping.
Dog, it took so long
Chop,
to set
chop,
up.
pizza
You don't
boy.
okay, it's the
understand.
first. It's
Wake
the
up,
first one.
buddy.
You want some coffee?
Bro, any
I'll literally turn
podcast, it
this
gets
to
easier
10
for me,
for you.
Bro,
bro.
I'm not taking caffeine at 11 p.m. at night.
But I always drink caffeine and go to bed right after.
All right.
This
It's like-
guy's
it's
All
like
right,
my
wait,
shit.
okay.
Back to what I
When
was
do you
saying.
drink caffeine?
Nah, dog.
Okay,
Let's switch
go.
topic, dog. This is getting boring.
So what I was saying is,
You're
yeah,
just
the
sleepy.
money is like an endless thing. Like we're gonna want to chase higher and higher and just more and more. But isn't that also the same with anything else? Like I was saying, you know how like Dero said, is like his mom told him, he's afraid that once he chases that new higher income, there's always gonna be that new higher income. But what if that's the same for everything else? You don't want to chase a new higher. For example, snowboarding. Oh, chase a higher skill, get better. Or like any other thing you're doing, you want to chase higher and higher and higher. But then again, like now that I'm thinking about it, as I'm saying, I feel like some of us do certain things just for the fun of it, not for complete trying to be the number one best at it. But what do you guys think about that?
I mean, this was something we also had a conversation with when we went to that breakfast. Your main purpose in life shouldn't be monetary. If it's monetary, you're not chasing anything real. There's no point in living.
Bro, we're 20 right now. The only thing we are chasing is monetary,
Yeah.
which
You're
is money.
I'm chasing freedom. I'm not chasing money.
Mm,
Money comes with freedom. If I'm trying to build,
How do you get freedom without money?
Yeah, money creates it.
How do you get freedom without money? You can't. Go run outside naked. Yeah, you're free, but you're broke.
okay.
Am I wrong, dog? Am I wrong?
No, I get
my
the
point.
point.
Listen, my point being, I mean, maybe again, this kind of goes back to the work-life balance. How we're saying right now, it should be more skewed to work because we're trying to build something. But at the end of the day, let's say you're 35 and you're netting $1 million a month, right? For example, at that point, your lifestyle is now changing from $1 million to $2 million a month, realistically, because how much could you do? So at that point, your purpose in life should be building your family, providing for your kids, being able to give them a good education, be a good parent, be there for
Like, you
them.
could provide pretty well with even like 50K a month.
Yeah.
You could. That being my point. Anywhere from 150 and up, lifestyle doesn't really change.
Even 50K and up doesn't really change. You just
Uh,
buy cooler cars and bigger.
Yeah,
yachts.
exactly. You're
It's just
already
toys.
when you hit
It's just
50K
toys.
clean a month. I think that
It's
sets
just
you
toys.
You're trying to max out what you can spend
Like after
on.
50, you could buy whatever, whenever. It's just like how expensive those
The
things
toys
are.
can be, yeah. The more expensive
think-
toys. I mean, I wasn't saying chasing money. I was saying, even though, okay, yeah, that we aren't chasing money, but you were saying, like, oh, we have, like, a hobby we do on the side, right? You're saying,
Yeah.
oh, we do snowboarding now.
Yeah.
But I was saying, like, you know how we said chasing money, it's like an endless thing. Like, oh, you can keep chasing. But then I'm saying, like, let's say we do something on the side, like a hobby.
Mhm.
And I was saying we're all very competitive.
Yeah.
So we're treating it as, like, another thing where it's like, oh, get better. And, but
Yeah.
then we also chase that end perfection thing you were telling earlier, talking about in the beginning.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like exactly, like being very competitive. Whatever you're doing, you want to be better and better, and just get good at doing it. I think that kind of goes back a little bit to my point of what is a successful person, and that's why like I've thought about this a lot, and that's why I say a successful person is someone who is just chasing what they love and consistently striving to improve day by day and getting as close as they can to perfection. That's why I say chasing perfection, because you can never be perfect. There's always better. There's always improvement room.
Okay, yeah, you know what? I kind of I kind of like agree with that point. It kind of opened my eyes because as someone who's like successful in like the way you're defining it, it's like, bro, us as humans, we always want to work harder and do more things, and we're always gonna want to face challenges. Once we stop facing anything challenging, that's when we like start becoming a lazy bum and whatever. Like,
Yeah.
and our life just completely changes. We have to always be doing something that's hard chasing something that's challenging and doing like hard, complicated stuff that stresses us out, maybe puts us under some pressure, and we like get like frustrated or we don't know what's going wrong and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like we always got to be under that pressure, and once we like eliminate that, and we can do that, we do that by like putting that focus to something outside of the money. Because if we can do it towards money, but we can't leave it towards money. We got to also
Yeah.
shift that to something outside of the money, like a sport or something like that. Being as really heavily focused in a sport, something like that.
Yeah, honestly, it's just I would get bored. Like I had an experience where usually when you go on vacation, you're traveling, right? You're seeing new places. You're with your family or with your boys if you go with your boys. But when I went to New York, I got really sick. I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
remember, but I was like just in bed for 3 hours and honestly just scrolling on social media, watching YouTube. I was doing nothing, right? I'm literally somewhere. My parents were like going to see places. All my cousins were going to see places, and I was getting so bored because I just had nothing to do. So I think the
FOMO.
older we get, and like if money becomes a lower and lower kind of responsibility because you're making enough money where you can provide for your family, then you start putting more and more time into your family. You raise your kids how you want to raise your kids. You know, you take your kids, for example, on a trip, whatever it is. You know, you're actively pursuing being a better parent, I guess you
And
could
that
Just
say.
like
gives you the
enjoying
purpose.
life
Yeah.
and like
Yeah, it's
reaping the
just- it's
stuff,
just
reaping the
enjoying
rewards of
life,
life
but
and just what it has.
It has to be something hard. Like raising good kids is not easy, obviously. So it's just you got to do something
Yeah,
challenging.
yeah.
It
Also,
doesn't
that
matter
just
where you
goes
are.
back into like health as wealth. Like you're laying down in bed because you literally can't get out of the house.
And that just
yeah.
proves money isn't everything.
Oh yeah,
'Cause
you can.
Listen,
Yeah.
if you're unhealthy, you'll pay whatever the cost is to be healthy
Oh yeah,
again.
Yeah.
you can have a
You know-
thousand problems
100%.
until you have a health problem,
And then that's
and
the only problem.
nothing else
Yeah,
matters.
exactly.
Yeah, it's like those really
Hershey
powerful
King.
quotes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a sick man. It's like a healthy man has 1,000 problems, but a sick man has only one.
Yeah.
one
Yeah,
problem.
bro,
One
keep
thing that he
eating those
wants is
Hershey
like
bars.
now
bro,
let me
that's
ask you a
it.
question. Yeah, keep hitting those Hershey
Hey,
bars.
ever since I told y'all I won't eat Hershey's, I haven't touched it.
There we
since.
go. Go be man.
No,
like-
we
it's
shook
been like 2
on
days.
it. We shook on it. It's been 2 weeks.
Do
We
we
shook
bel-
on
do
it.
we
I'm
believe
staying. My
that?
word.
Now, do I believe that?
Do I believe
We
that?
need a lie detector, boys. Lie
We need to hook
detector
him
stuff.
onto a lie
Next
Yeah,
detector.
literally,
podcast. Next podcast.
Hey,
Okay.
yeah, we should do a podcast.
Oh,
all
that'd be
about
so
that.
funny.
Hey, also, boys,
Oh, lie
whatever like
detector.
topics y'all want us to talk about, just comment below.
Oh, yeah.
We'll
Oh,
look
yeah.
through
Now,
them.
let
Or
me
if
ask
you
you
want
guys
us to
this.
talk more about
Now-
one specific topic.
Do you guys think a lot of people our age have the same mentality as
Hell
us?
no.
No.
And I'll tell you why.
And
No,
I'll-
no,
Now,
not
let me
okay.
put this out there. We're in our
And it's not
very
an ego
early
thing.
teens. We're 2021. So I want us to talk about other people our age and their priorities. Being, in university, being in college, and
Yeah.
their perception of real success and what it actually takes to, make it out.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
I'm not gonna go far at all. Like this weekend, we literally went to like a sort of like a little bit of a college. I don't want to call it a party. It wasn't a big party.
Yeah,
It was
we don't
nothing.
party.
Yeah, it was nothing crazy going on, and nothing wrong about the people there. They were actually like very chill guys. We were talking to them, having good conversations, but like this is again, no offense to them, but as soon as some of the people were just walking in the house, they were running, just drinks, and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, bro, it's 10:30 at night. I sleep at this time. So why do I sleep at this time? Because I want to wake up in the morning. I have to be sharp. That's just what I do, right? So what am I chasing and what are they chasing? And I'm not saying that's anything wrong. Some of those people are going to be lawyers, doctors. They're going to have great professions. They're going to have just great, bright futures. They're going to provide for their family, have beautiful families. But as in, do I think everyone is chasing what we're chasing to be like top echelon and top 1%? I don't think so.
I think everyone our age is chasing success. They just don't understand what it takes to be successful. Maybe when it comes to business. When it comes to as far as a degree, being a doctor, being a lawyer, I agree. Get your degree. You can have a high paying job right off the bat at 26, 27, whatever age. But when it comes to business, a lot of business majors, a lot of people who claim to be entrepreneurs our age, I don't think understand what it really takes.
It's not that they don't understand. They can't comprehend, number one, owning a business. Number two, having the stress of like, okay, this is all on me. If I mess up,
Oh,
if
yeah.
I don't wake up tomorrow and do what needs to be done, everything's going to fall apart and all responsibility falls on me. They can't handle the fact, they can't even comprehend the money that there is to be made. They're like, okay, I get a job, I work, I'm chill. They don't think like, oh, I can make like literally what I make in a year and a month.
Now,
It's also who you surround yourself with. Like, if I was surrounded by people who don't work as hard as you guys do, I don't think I would be as a hard worker as I am. Like, if I wake up one day and I see Derek and RS posted 5 videos, I gotta post some videos, bro. Like, I can't just not post
you
videos.
know, we're gonna be like, why have you not posted as many
Yeah.
as us? You have to
And-
post more.
Yeah, and like we have this sort of like just, I guess,
It's like
Dynamic.
Standard.
competitiveness we
Yeah,
were talking about.
yeah, I want to call it, what is the word for that? Like a locker room dynamic. We're just like trying to. No, that's not the right word. Never mind.
Locker
Cut
room
that shit out.
dynamic.
But this
Dynamic.
is look,
Listen, I wanted to add something
Yeah.
before, like, we're kind of already shifted away from it, but I wanted to say, like, those people who are pursuing college, whatever, to do, like, oh, lawyer, doctor, whatever. Yeah, some of them are doing it just because, like,
Someone needs
they're
to flip the patties.
okay, bro. This is deeper than flipping the patties, bro.
But
If you're
doctors
on the
don't flip.
fucking, if you're on the surgery room, who's gonna take care of you? The chat GPT?
Yeah, bro, who knows in 10 years there
Maybe
might
10
be
years.
ChatGPT
But
robot.
I wanted to point out that the people who are some people, right? Some people are going to college because their parents say, and they're doing the lawyer, doctor because their parents tell them to. But those who are actually pursuing that, I think they're not so focused on getting rich, like getting a lot of money at a young age and enjoying it. I've actually talked to some people in college, like they're not that heavily. Now, I don't agree with their mentality, and of course, there's gonna be some people who think like
They're
this.
not
'Cause
heavily
if
what?
they all think like us, then they're all gonna want to be entrepreneurs, and there's no courage left for the other people. But what I want to say is like some people go or that are enrolled in the like college to go pursue like doctor, lawyer, some sort of engineer in STEM. They don't do it in the form of like, oh, I want to get rich, I want to make a lot of money to enjoy. I think they go into the mindset of like, I want to go into this and be this. I really love this career and everything involved around this, and I'm okay with not making crazy ton of money. Of course, I want to make enough money in the future to sustain myself and my future family, but that's not a priority. I just want to get involved with something that I love that has a big, meaningful impact to society. Like a lawyer, we all know a lawyer has a big impact to society. We all know a doctor plays a big role in our society. What else is there? Engineers play a big role in society. Of course, when AI, 10 decades later, they come and they do all that stuff, but
10 decades?
You mean a sentence?
decades.
I mean,
No, I'm saying
Ain't
like
no
decades later, AI comes in and just whatever, like that takes up a lot of the roles of that. But that's for later. I'm talking about right now.
I agree that most of those people who are pursuing a degree. I mean, there's that exceptions where they have nothing else to do. They haven't, they don't
They're
have a
just
path,
doing it
so they're just doing it to
They're
do
just
it.
doing it to do it.
But there, especially
by.
if you are pursuing to be a doctor, I think that takes a very special type of person who's really genuinely wants to help people, and that's genuinely what they want to do. Now, I'm taking me as an example. I genuinely love running a business. I genuinely love building an income and building something for myself. So, I could see that because college potentially is not the path for me because you can't really build a business. You don't learn how to build a business until you actually do it. Going back to what you said, as far as people don't understand that everything kind of falls on your shoulder and that stress, and if I don't wake up and go to work, you don't understand it until you actually do it. So a lot of business majors in college need that hands-on experience.
They're
where,
just learning how to be a manager.
yeah, but exactly.
I think I think overall, just the
No,
education.
business
I think
major is just
overall,
learning how to be a manager.
but I think overall, just the formal education system needs to be like restructured completely, like in a complete different way. I don't know exactly how, but just the way they're teaching and but so many college classes. Like I saw Charlie Kirk video explaining this. He's like, raise your hand if you guys are taking classes that you don't want to take and you don't think it has it doesn't have any benefit towards what you want to do. And like literally almost everyone raised their hand.
I disagree
college-
completely. I think that it should stay the exact same.
So you think
because
general educations are helpful?
Not everyone can be successful. Not everyone's made to be successful.
So you
Like,
think general
literally.
education classes are helpful?
Okay.
So what about
Everything
ancient
we learn.
Egyptian literature is helpful? Ancient
Maybe
English
some
literature?
people, but listen. My point is, did we learn anything we learned from school? Yes or no? How do we learn what we did?
Exactly.
doing
We're doing
research,
business.
By thinking outside the box.
But we're
by
doing
looking
business.
outside. That's exactly my point. We learned to think outside the box with life experiences, not from school, but just from figuring shit out on our own. That's why we're in the positions we're in. That the school can't give everyone that.
Yeah.
So yes, for general people, the average people, yes, school maybe is good. Become a math teacher, become an English teacher, whatever. Go be a doctor, lawyer, software engineer, like actual mechanical engineer, whatever. That's okay for normal people. But the system's built so those who think outside the box literally go up way quicker rather than the people that are just stuck in the box.
I think it goes back to, I mean, at least for me, it's some sort of addiction where, you see
money.
something. No, not even the money aspect, because I genuinely love what I do.
Yeah.
and what my business is structured around, the principles it has. So it's some form of addiction where, you know, I have this vision where I want to be in 5 years, or, you know, I have a vision where I want to be at the end of the year, and I see that vision come to life every day. Because not a lot of people in school, in college, see that, you know, they're going off one day when I'm a doctor, one day when I'm a lawyer, one day when I have my degree, I'll start my own practice. I'm doing it. I'm living that dream. I'm getting up every morning and seeing that progress, seeing that growth, seeing, you know, employees coming in, families, you know, seeing progress. So it's some sort of addiction
They
that
have delayed gratification while you get instant gratification from
Also,
it.
I did disagree.
I also don't think that's like honestly fair. For example, like talking about a doctor or a lawyer, they can't go and start their own practice.
They can't.
Like
Yeah.
if a lawyer's goal is to have a firm, he has to get a law degree first.
They can't get go online certificate for being a
Yeah,
doctor or
also,
lawyer.
I
Like
wanted to-
college is
Online
important for those
certificate.
aspects, but I think the whole education system needs to be changed in terms of that
I-
aspect. But continue.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of shift not away honestly, but it's kind of a question that popped up in my head because we were talking about it. Do you guys think I guess entrepreneurship mindset is something you're born with, or is it something you can also learn and sort of like, you know, get into it?
I think it's definitely something you develop. Um, just mainly because of the fact that I was a school nerd. I in high school, you know, I was top 10% in California. I considered myself a geek because I applied to all these universities, and when I didn't get in, you know, that was probably one of the lowest points that I could imagine, just because I've busted my ass off for the past 8 years in middle school and high school, and not seeing that acceptance letter really just kind of just broke me down. And it wasn't until that moment where, you know, I was kind of doing what I do on the side, and I didn't really think of the path it could take me on. And I kind of switched into that entrepreneurial mindset where, and then I learned as I went.
Mm.
Um, I'm not disagreeing with the fact that some people are born with that mindset as far as, you know, building and succeeding and achieving something for themselves. But I'm taking myself as an example. I never saw myself running a business, owning a business. Um, I just learned as it went, and God had a plan for me, and I kind of just trusted Him and walked that path, and it ended up being, you know, something greater than I ever thought it could be. So
It's always like learned. You don't just become. You just don't. You're not just born, and you know how to run a business. Like for example, oh, you're born with it. No, you're not born with it. You grew up in a family where the values were, oh,
Mm.
this is the structure we're gonna do everything in. It's a structured family. What are businesses? They're all structured. So if you grow up in like a chaotic household, and your parents are just always chaotic, nothing. You're not gonna like. I believe the likelihood of you becoming a entrepreneur is low because nothing's structured. To be an entrepreneur, you have to have structure in your business. And on top of that, it's 100% dependent on your parents. If your dad is like a small business owner, your mom's a small business owner, or a freelancer, whatever, you're automatically going to like go into those fields and start doing those type of hobbies. But if your parents are not in any of those fields, they're literally like a teacher and a lawyer, you're not gonna think about business. Maybe because your dad's a lawyer, you think about business, but you're not gonna think about it because that's not how you're raised to think. It's not that you're born; it's how you're raised.
I agree because I was raised as a very quote unquote traditional, you know, Armenian background where, or just any traditional mindset where you get the degree and you're successful and you're stable and you could live somewhat middle class, maybe even higher middle class, and raise a decent family. It wasn't until I saw myself trying, my parents actually trying to build something for themselves, and, you know, because they grew up being employees and working for, you know,
Yeah.
corporate, or,
Mm.
you know, it wasn't until they came out of that realm and, you know, tried building something for themselves where I saw and I kind of fell in love with that. I was like, oh, what, that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah,
Working on your own time, maybe. Now I discover that you're more of an employee for your business than
100%.
anyone in your company because you clock in more hours, you work more, you're managing.
like
But
that
at the same
goes.
time, it's again that environment where you're a part of, where I saw my parents, okay, trying to build something for themselves, and I was like, okay, let me try something for myself, and it kind of worked out.
Yeah, that goes
See,
back to like what I said about the like, oh, like I saw my parents, they built a business before we came to America over there. It crumbled down, came to America. Within like 10 years, they built a whole nother business. And me seeing them literally be like somewhere at the top, crumbled down, move to a whole different country, start with zero, live in a one bedroom apartment, and be able to like buy a house within like 10, 15 years of being here. I was like, wow, like you can literally start from nothing. And that's like why I never really focused too much on school, honestly. Like I was like, okay, what am I learning here? Like, do I need this? Not really. Even though my dad's a mechanical engineer and he wouldn't do what he did without his degree, I didn't think I needed a mechanical engineering degree, even though they wanted me to get it. But my main point is you don't need a degree, number one. Like you literally don't.
You don't.
My next point is
I disagree.
again, you're raised. It's all dependent on how you're raised because my parents did not have two businesses that both crumbled and came back up. And me seeing them do that, I would not be like this today because now I'm like, okay, I can start anything from ground up, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
So a few things. I'll just quickly add this.
Yeah.
I wanted to add a few things because you guys talk for like 5 minutes to each other.
Deal
Good.
with it.
I wanted to say first of all,
Bromance.
not only is it just how you're raised, but I feel like it's the influence that's played on you around like your entire life. Like you guys know.
Friends and family. Yeah.
First of all, I think I would say me and Devine are kind of the two that are kind of learned our way into entrepreneurship throughout our life. But
agree.
you two are the ones that kind of grew up knowing like, oh, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur. I'm gonna be business oriented. I
Yeah,
know that for a
I
fact.
agree.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
So I
knew since
wanted
I was like
that.
5.
And I wanted to add, like, also I disagree again with the degree thing because I mentioned it earlier, like, oh, doctor, lawyer, you're not gonna go get a certificate online to go be doing that, and we of course need those. We need those in the world. You disagree with that?
People gotta flip the patties.
Okay,
Oh, doctor ain't
lawyer
no,
is
there ain't no
flipping-
patty. Why are you hating on doctors, bro?
Nah.
No, I'm not.
Nah,
Please
bro,
do surgery.
do not
on
let
me.
bro go into surgery.
If I'm on my deathbed, please do the best surgery you can,
Bro's gonna
dog.
do the-
Please.
Take
Bro,
the
so
LDAs.
something against doctors.
Bro wants someone with a doctor certificate from an online 3-hour course to
Bro,
do
I'll just go
surgery.
to
Nurse, dog.
offer up. I'll just order a quick doctor. Hey, G, can you do the
Yeah,
surgery?
but just quickly adding something, and I'll let you get back to your point.
Yeah.
Why I was raised with more of that sort of entrepreneurial like mindset is my dad always had a business, small businesses, right? And it's kind of growing up, you understand that that's just possible. When you see your dad and mom do it, you're like, okay, it's possible. It's not as crazy as people say it is. Running a business for a lot of people seems like impossible. Like, oh, only the elite do this. But
Yeah.
when you see someone as close as your parents just, start a small business, run it up a little bit, start to see the like fruits of their labor as in like, pay and like all that.
That's how my mindset was before.
Yeah,
Like
you
only
start-
the elites can do this. That's
Yeah.
like beforehand.
Yeah.
Like that's how my mindset was.
I also
only
think
elites
that's
can do this.
yeah, but that shouldn't be a limiting factor for those individuals who are raised in it. Because
Also, running a business doesn't mean like you're a millionaire. You could run a small business and make like 70K a year, 100K a year. Like,
Oh, yeah.
that's
Like
what we're
it's
talking
just
about.
people don't know that perspective of what is a business. Like speaking from someone who did not know anything about business up until like 16 years old mainly because of this guy right here influencing me back in like COVID times. He was very business oriented, and because like everything shifted online, he started like doing stuff online. We're on call every single day playing games, and outside of those game hours, he's
Hey,
doing
don't
like
expose me like
That's
that. dog.
crazy.
Don't
Fortnite
expose me
maxing?
like that,
we don't
dog.
want to say Damascus in 2 weeks.
Damascus
on
in
Call of
Nah,
Duty?
1 week, actually. 12
if
hours.
Y'all know, I
like
was
12
playing
hours day
Modern
grinding.
Warfare. I got Damascus in like 2 weeks. Like I was a
That's your
sweat dog.
mentor.
And I applied the exact same like
Like,
consistency
drive.
of me just grinding for
Yeah.
that skin to money.
You
Yeah.
get obsessed. Like that's
Oh,
one
yeah.
thing I've always noticed
You
about you,
become
which is
obsessed.
really, really good.
I locked the
Yeah,
fucking.
and yeah,
in the
no,
business realm.
No, you just, obviously, yeah. That has positives and negatives. Like, for example, a negative was Hershey chocolate, but you've put that away so far.
Hershey chocolate.
Like, anything you do,
consistency.
if you like it, you get obsessed, which
100%.
that's the reason you
It's a
built
gift
your
and a
business
curse.
So,
so
yeah.
fast. Yeah.
What I was saying is, so back in COVID times, he would pretty much literally just always talk about Shopify building stores, doing private label dropshipping, whatnot, at Amazon FBA, affiliate marketing. You tried everything, and you put actually your effort into it. You actually made some like decent bread from it.
Yeah, and I stuck to day trading.
Yeah, and like that's kind of what my opening eye was, because now I'm around somebody who's actually doing it.
Hey
Because
guys,
now,
it's flowing so good right now.
now because a lot of people who are against that or don't know about that, they're not involved or around people who are actually doing it in their real world. They only see it on social media. Oh, guru, this, that. Oh, I have $1 million business. People are like, oh no, that's fake. It's all social media. Don't believe anything you see. But when it's someone next to you is doing it and you see it working, and you're like, wow, this guy like literally was my homie, and like he's doing this and he's like making money online. Like this is kind of interesting. How is he doing this? And you just, your inner curiosity, inner kid comes out. You want to learn more about it, and then that's what happened to me. At like 16 years old, I'm learning more about what this guy's doing, how he's making money online. He's like, dude, learn how to do Shopify. Dude, get on this. You have to do this. I got a little lazy. He told me to do it. I watched like a 2-hour-long video. Like,
That's crazy.
Less than
Hey,
halfway, and I didn't
Props
do
to
it.
you for admitting that.
No, I will admit it. I will admit it when I'm lazy. But yeah, so he told me to do that. I took a little longer. He's like, bro, you have to put in hours and hours every day. I told him, bro, I literally did though, but I didn't. And then I'm like, it's not working. And then yeah, but he would always talk about it, always put in the work. Even like when we'd go out, hang out, gets back home, back on the work. Like he's always had that drive and like consistency towards like whatever he's doing. Even like that's the thing. Like if you have that drive towards one thing,
little bro. I love
Yeah,
it.
that's
you know what?
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bro.
okay, I'm done. I'm done
take it
talking.
out.
Bro told us
Take
we
it
were
out.
talking.
It's getting wet.
He told us we were talking for 5 minutes.
You
He
know
took
you
5
like
minutes
it.
just glazing you. That was crazy.
Nah, that's crazy,
Nah,
though.
that's crazy, bro.
I love you.
Okay,
Aura.
now this
no
is the
more,
thing.
no
Now,
more,
I have a
no
question.
more. I'm done.
We talk
Nah,
about-
everyone comment some hate about that
Alright,
right
dog.
now.
Yeah.
Comment some hate about that.
Now, we talked about being successful, right?
Mhm.
And reaching success. What are
5 times.
drink your water?
What are you saying?
Is there certain habits that certain successful people do or have that potentially open their mind in a way to entrepreneurship or allow them to, you know, move forward a lot faster in life than other people their age?
I think they're just not scared of failing. Like, if you want to do something in the business world, you just can't be scared of failing. Like, yes, I'm going to put 100% effort into this, and there's a chance I fail. And if I do, who cares? I just
think
start
we've all
again.
failed,
I
yeah.
think it's
Yeah.
just also letting your inner curiosity and like you're being very open minded to try stuff. Cause like if you listen to people who are kind of not very business minded or entrepreneurial minded, whatever you want to call it, they're not really open to try new stuff. They're like they have a very limited mindset towards what they're doing. So
I kind of asked that question because I wanted to ask if you guys read every day.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
one
where'd that come
thing
from, though?
I don't do.
That was
I
random. But
used to.
That was random.
If I
On
try
and
and
off.
read, it'll take me like probably like a day to read like a page and a half.
Derek
honestly.
can't spell because. So
BE. I'm not even trying.
Derek, can you spell beautiful?
I'm not.
Listen, I trade lines on a chart in numbers.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not a poet.
You only know how open, high, low, close.
I'm not doubting that that's like good and like just will probably like improve you as a person, but it's just something I have not done.
is that something you want to do or is it just not of interest?
No
I
time.
hate
He's not-
reading. No,
Listen,
I
I
literally
hate-
hate it.
I hate reading too. Like it was to a point where I would read 3 pages and fall asleep.
Lucky I can't even get to one.
Anytime bro, honestly, anytime I thought about reading, like before I started actually reading stuff that I had interest in, I thought of reading as in reading textbooks from class and just complicated stuff that I don't really care about. But then I realized like there's specific, like let's say there's something you're struggling with or something like you're thinking about or you have a problem you can't solve. There's literally books, just like how there's YouTube videos, there's books made to help those certain types of problems or those certain types of people who are dealing with that problem or want to change how they like think or talk
Now,
or act.
when you say that there's a lot of books, I've read a few. I mean, again, I haven't been in the entrepreneurial space a lot, like many years, but I've read around 5 books so far. Again, if it was textbooks, I'd fall asleep, but these are books I was actually interested in and wanted to see if there's any value I'm able to gain for it, not only to apply in my personal life, but also gain skills that I'm able to apply in the business side of things as far as dealing with people, socializing. Most of it is BS. I mean, there wasn't much I was able to learn from it.
Are you seeing from the books?
From the books. Besides, again, I before we even started recording, I mentioned, I mean, I saw a video of Conor McGregor saying one book, Secret, The Law of Attraction, and I think that's a book that I recommend everyone read. I mean, I'm still in the process of reading, but it's just kind of opened my mind as far as the path you're able to set for yourself through the subconscious mind and the conscious mind. Again, I don't want to get too much of it if you guys haven't read the book, but I mean, I think it's a great way of you changing your mindset in order to attract more in your life of what you want as far as your partner, monetary, as we were saying, career, and a lot more.
You know what I struggle with, like when it comes to a book, my brain will just, I'll be reading a page, right? And again, to be honest, I haven't read books that I'm very interested in. Like the only book I've actually read was The Jungle Book, like when I was like 10 years old.
That was that.
But no, I like that book. That was interesting. I was a kid, bro.
It's
But
probably all, like,
point
pictures.
being, I think my mind just goes wandering, like about random things. Like I'll be reading a paragraph, I understand it, and then I'll just be thinking about some random thing. So maybe I should try like audiobooks.
You see,
that
this is the
maybe
thing.
that might help.
Let me add. This is the thing.
But I don't know.
This is the thing. Reading is like literally a skill, cause like like it's literally a skill. Some people are really good readers, and they're not just good. Some people have the skill of just they're talented from birth, but I think reading is literally a skill where it actually needs to be practiced, just like writing. Like
All right,
you
stop
can't just-
touching your microphone, touching the thing. The audio's gonna come out like shit.
Okay, so basically, let me just restart what I was saying.
Yeah.
So I was saying, I think reading is a skill. Just like how writing is a skill, you can't just write good the first time. Yeah, some people might be better at writing, better handwriting when they're learning it. But I think that focus part, that focus aspect comes from just trial and error and just continuously just reading, especially towards stuff that maybe are just more interesting or like easier to read, and then building the difficulty up or building more complicated texts and whatnot and building off of that. But I think overall it's just like another skill, just like anything else that needs to be improved through practice and just repetition.
Bro, it just bores me to death.
Now, this is
I don't know what it is.
when you said your mind wanders,
Yeah.
right? You start thinking about, random stuff.
Yeah.
I take reading.
Same.
You're saying same.
Oh, I take reading as a way of disconnecting my mind. Being able to, come out of all the stress or all the work that I'm in during the day and just relax. Now, obviously, I'm reading about business. I'm reading about growth. I'm reading about self-improvement, you could say, whatever. But again, we all get on call. We talk. We do work, and then I'm off at 11. That last hour, I set aside to not only read the Bible and increase my relationship with God, which over the past 3 weeks, I mean, I've seen a big change. We could get into that later, but at the same time, put work aside and really just focus on and just kind of turn off my brain and focus on the book, which one kind of puts me to sleep.
Yeah.
But two, it allows me to fall asleep a lot faster and it relaxes my mind a lot more. And in where I could actually take in the information of the book.
If it's in that scenario, I would say like my kind of equivalent to your reading is watching like a YouTube video about a topic I'm interested in.
I keep scrolling.
Like
I knew
no, not scrolling.
YouTube video on like cars, just right before you sleep.
Maybe car, maybe sometimes it'll be something like
That's
for
crazy.
example.
Bro's blue light maxing right before bed.
Yeah, I mean no.
And then complains
I
about
don't like
migraines.
short form. I don't like short form content. Like
What is podcast?
it pisses me off that I don't remember what I've been scrolling on. Like I do this to myself all the time. Like I'll scroll. We're all like guilty of this. I'll scroll, and then I'm like, what was the video before this? And I genuinely don't remember until I scroll back and I'm like, oh, it was just like BS, right? But no, like long form video is, I guess, kind of similar. I mean, that's my kind of equivalent to your reading. I just watch a video that I'm interested in, and it's not actually. It used to be more correlated. Now it's I like to watch some people talk, like a little bit of a podcast, and not like I'll do it sometimes like this. I'll watch 20 minutes of a 2-hour podcast for like a week, and
Is it because you just can't click?
no, it's just I don't enjoy like thing content, like
See, I
short form
feel like
content as much.
Reading,
Yeah, go ahead.
continue.
Yeah, I'm
Dog,
basically done. Yeah,
Don't consume, create. Done.
I was just gonna say like
Yeah,
reading is
but at
Consuming
night,
could
to
help you
just-
create.
it's like the last 20 minutes
That's an
to
excuse
just
you use.
I was gonna say reading is kind of like sort of that like audiobook or podcast clip or people talk or not clip but podcast of people talking, but it's not like the video's playing and it's just keep going in your head. You have to use like two different things. You have to use your brain to just go over the words on your own, and then the other aspect is like your brain like saying the words to yourself in your head. So like sometimes you literally see you're reading words, and you're like, oh, what did I just read? Like the past three sentences. So like that's like one side of your brain just like reading it, but you're not like pay attention to it. So you have to pay attention and read it as well. So that's like audiobooks are kind of like get rid of that one portion of the skill, but the reading side of it, like you reading it yourself, is two skills of its own. Like just reading it and like consuming and understanding what you read, and that just comes with practice. And like the more you do it, the more you increase like that focus zone of like kind of you being able to stick to your reading and just focus on it and not get distracted. That duration of you having that focus gets increased every time you just keep reading and reading and reading. It's like literally like another skill.
I think dumb people are more likely to be successful than smart people. Because dead ass. Like, listen, dumb people, not dumb like idiots, but dumb people overthink and stress less than smart people.
Yeah.
It's about to be like
Smart
a whole
people
30-minute conversation.
overcomplicate. Smart people overcomplicate everything. They overthink about every possible outcome of the scenario
Yeah.
before they even start doing it. So that itself will delay them actually taking action into it. And that dumb person, on the other hand,
Or
Like,
just take the risk.
oh, let's just do it. Let's see
Oh,
what
yeah.
happens.
Oh, that's
And,
you.
Like, yeah, it is literally me, dog.
I'll say I'm the smart
I
person.
don't think it's dumb,
Now-
bro.
now, look.
It's not dumb people. It's more of like
It's like a spectrum. Smart, not like smart people here and like dumb people here, and they're like you
Yeah,
gotta find
Well,
like in the middle. point.
let me say something about this. I don't think it's necessarily dumb or smart. I think it's more of just personality.
I didn't say dumb.
Oh,
I don't
okay,
mean
or-
that, you know?
Well,
It's like how
when-
adverse you are to like
you're
taking a
saying-
risk,
when
how
you're
comfortable
saying-
you are.
When you're saying as far
It's
as
overthinking
smart,
and not overthinking.
when you're saying smart,
Yeah.
you take in consideration all the small aspects. Like, I'm a very OCD control freak
Yeah.
over my business.
Yeah.
I mean, I consider myself smart. Obviously, someone who in other shoes.
no way.
What, being smart.
Cap.
No, but this is again, we're all growing, and we're on the path to achieving whatever goal we have set, and this is a big challenge I've actually been facing. I'm sure you guys are all aware that in order to grow, I need to learn how to
Go
let
down.
go.
Yeah.
That's a really good topic.
Wait, what'd you say
because-
in order to what?
In order to grow, I need to learn how to let go, decrease myself and my achievements in order to build myself up even more.
Yeah.
Now, I told myself, I mean, let me think how to say this. I'm very OCD. I like to know what's happening in my business 24/7. Know the ins and outs, know the scheduling, know the billing, know all the staff, all the families, everything. And to a point,
You
that's
can't
putting a
handle it.
cap of the growth, because I'm not able to be there face to face with everyone I deal with
And control everything.
and control it. I heard something. It was standard, not presence. If your standard is there, you don't need to be present.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing. It's a challenge for me now, is to be able to let go and understand that if I want to grow and achieve
You have
a
to take the
different
risk of letting it go. Yeah.
Do you
achieve
think- Yeah, finish it. I'll ask a
achieve
question.
achieve a different level and unlock a new stage of my business, that's a big step I have to take.
Yeah.
I've done other steps like that in the past, and so I need to learn how to kind of just overcome that.
Just not be as controlling about the whole
Not learn
situation.
how to be controlling, because in
You
my
think-
mind it's
But it's
always
also
like,
overthinking too.
it's overthinking, because I've kind of been raised with the mindset that no one is going to care about your business as much as you do. No one
Yeah.
is going to clock in more hours as you. No
Yeah.
one is going to work as hard as you. So with that mentality,
Unless you pay him enough.
unless if I pay him enough,
Yeah.
you're right. But
Still no.
still
as
no,
much.
because at the end of the day, it's what I built, and it's my
Oh,
blood,
yeah.
sweat, and tears, and the past 5 years I've spent. It's just your baby.
That's why I'm like
So-
scared to hire people for my
And
own
Do you?
business.
Hold on, one question I'll
Yeah,
ask him.
yeah,
Is it a
go.
quick thing or?
It's very quick.
Okay,
and
say very quick,
This is
I'll
the
add
thing.
something.
For you, it's not only the money aspect. You love what you do. You know.
Yeah.
You love what you do, so there's like more value. You love what you do, and obviously you enjoy the money aspect of it as well. But even if you're paying someone a lot of money for it, they would have to be a very special type of person to also really care about your business and the money side. Most of the time, they're gonna care a little bit more about the money than obviously the
Exactly.
business.
And
That's-
I've seen that, because sorry, because I know you had something to say, but I've seen that where I have a really good employees,
Mhm.
really good at their job, but at the end of the day, they're in it for the money,
Oh yeah, of
and
course.
Yeah.
because they need to make a
It's
living.
like a side gig.
So yeah, go say what you were about to say.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Okay, first thing I was gonna say back to what Andrew said about like the. What were you saying?
No, I was saying basically how
Smart people, dumb people. There it is.
No,
There
I
you
was
go.
saying that he obviously enjoys the money side, but he also
Oh, yeah.
cares about his business. Like genuinely loves what he does. And I'm not
Yeah, and
saying
other
that his
people don't,
employees
yeah.
don't. It's just they're not gonna love it as much as him, because when he looks at it, like I remember this perfectly. We were in high school when Devin started his business. Bro was driving around literally city to city just for a 1 hour
Yeah,
session.
yeah, yeah.
30-minute consultations, and he was just because he loved what he did. Like
Yeah.
he genuinely started doing it because he loved it. So it's like that love will always be in him,
Yeah.
and
It-
not
Back
the
to
same
the-
thing with his employees.
Okay, let me. I didn't even say
It's
what I
not
wanted to say.
possible.
My bad, Pookie.
I was okay. Two things. I was gonna say like adding on to kind of this thing you said about the standards about work versus present. What was the quote? You were like, if your
Presence-
standards are there, then you don't need to be present. Something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So that's the thing. That's
powerful.
gonna. It is powerful because like you kind of want to have like, it's gonna be really difficult to find that team who is literally almost just. They're not gonna be as probably as willing to work as hard for your business as you are, but they're gonna probably be like 70%. You want to find that team that's like 70 to 80% as heavily invested into being as like working hard towards your business as you are. yeah, you want to find people who are just as good. It's not gonna be easy finding that team,
Mm.
right? Like I'm sure your goal is to try to get to that point, so you build that standards to that level, but it's not gonna be easy. The other thing I wanted to add was you were saying, oh, like I want to try to control every situation, control the outcome of it. I'm kind of like a control freak and just want to see like how's every family doing, how's everything going here and that. Do you think all of this comes out of a fear of like failure, out of a fear of of a fear of potentially failing?
Oh, 100%. Because now I think of it as
Like for
the
example, you don't
quality.
actually. I continue. Say
I
what you're
think
saying.
of it as the quality. If I'm not there, giving 100%, someone else is not giving 100%.
Yeah.
So it kind of goes back to, again, finding the right person who is willing to grow and build. Now, I understand my mistakes. I understand that, it's the wrong mentality to have that control freak mentality. But so that's a big step I need to personally take to overcome, because I know once I do, I I'll grow a lot faster and a
Yeah.
lot more.
Also, I want to go back to the topic where you said, "Oh, you like go back down to go back up." A lot of people probably won't understand what you mean by that. For example, let's say you have a partner and you're doing business with them. Okay, let's say they have like 25% stake in the company and they're doing all the management, advertisement, stuff like that. If let's say you're making 20K revenue a month and you want to get to 100, you have to fire that person and take the hit of dropping back down to 10 for at least a couple months until you find someone that's willing to take you to 100.
Yeah.
That's like kind of an example of what he means by, oh, you have to go back down to like build yourself back
And
the
up.
this
longer-
goes back to
Taking the hit.
people don't understand the business side until you actually do it, because these are
Exactly.
the things you have to experience
Exactly.
to
Along
actually.
with that, and the longer you keep like that person who's like kind of holding you back and you put it off and whatnot, you're kind of suffering that opportunity cost. Like you need to make the actions
Yeah.
quick and
Yeah.
quick.
Time,
And
yeah.
it's just delayed gratification. Like
Yeah.
you have to again take the hit, not get that. I don't know if I want to use the word dopamine, but not have the dopamine of, oh, I'm still making $20,000 a month,
Yeah.
and just understand that why am I doing this? I'm sacrificing my income for a couple of months
Yeah.
to grow.
To grow.
See, I
It's
think
very
the
simple.
best balance between a dumb and smart person is in the middle, because a dumb person might just like keep doing like bullshit, and just making stuff, and yeah, they're not thinking a lot. They're taking action. You're right, but they're probably
They're
not
too
doing the like.
impulsive.
Yeah, but
They're-
think about it. The more darts you throw
Let
at
me
the board,
finish.
you're gonna hit the middle
Okay, but
eventually.
see-
You get better at
But
it.
see,
Yeah.
if you're throwing darts backwards, you don't know what you're doing. You need to.
Oh,
you
you're
need-
not
you-
wrong though.
you need to-
bro, catch you with that one.
If you throw it backwards, you're literally throwing
Alright,
it
dog,
wrong.
I
This is
wasn't in
why.
the
This is why you
game.
need to be. This is why I say middle, because you need to be dumb to be just throwing darts, but you need to have that level of analyzation and thinking to be a little strategic
Know
with
how to
what you're
throw it,
doing.
yeah.
I
So
don't-
you got. Let me finish. So
Yeah.
you gotta like kind of at least you gotta think and like kind of strategize what you're doing, but not to the point where it prevents you from taking action. I'm sure we've all talked
Yeah.
about this, to the point where it prevents you from taking action.
Yeah, I don't think it's only about like, oh, being in the middle of a dumb and a smart person. It's more of, as someone, for example, if this is something I used to do when I was a lot younger, I would think a lot about what I wanted to start. Like, I would eventually get into it. Like, I was never a person to just think, and not do it, but I would probably spend like a couple of hours or a couple of days too long just thinking about what I want to do instead of doing it. And obviously, as I've grown, I've understood the world of just, like supply and demand, just business, just trying to grow something. You understand that when you're starting off, it doesn't matter how much you think you know and how much you try to learn before starting, your first product is going to be trash. And it's
You're not gonna
quantity.
make that
Yeah,
first.
and the
Yeah,
more you
it's
try
quantity.
to predict what it will be like, oh, if I'm gonna do
Yeah.
this, I'm gonna do that, you won't know until you actually do it.
You
Like,
gotta put out quantity.
it'll be completely different
Yeah.
than when you actually do it, than
Yeah.
what you thought it was gonna be
and,
like.
and that's what I was talking about in one of my videos, where I was like, quantity like over quality. Because if you keep putting stuff out, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're gonna just
The
progr-
quality will go
yeah,
up.
it
with the
will
quality.
go
Yeah.
up like just automatically.
You'll
so
know
it's
from
just
trial and error.
100%.
Yeah.
That's the biggest, I guess, lesson I've learned in
now-
the past 2 years.
Now, I can argue that and say that. Do you think in my field,
Mhm.
quantity over quality is better? If I keep adding, if I keep growing and growing and growing, eventually quality will go up.
Yes.
How?
So there was a study done. Oh, it was like two chefs. Okay, they had 2 months to perfect a dish. Chef A studied, bro. I studied, bro. Johnny Walker in the war room. Chef A, Chef A studied as much as he could. Did it a couple times. Tried to perfect the exact formula. Chef B, on the other hand, he had the formula. He had all the ingredients. He just did it like 100 times for the 2 months. By the time this guy did it 1,000 times, made the exact same dish 1,000 times. Chef A did it like 10 times. But he like perfected it, got like the exact placement of like where you should put the oil, the quality, everything like that. But guess who made it better? The one who did it 1,000 times.
There's
Because
another
the more
study
you do,
similar
the
to
better you
that.
get at doing it.
But as far as
Yeah.
when it comes to the scale, as far as when it comes to scaling,
Yeah.
now, if I just hire and hire and hire and hire,
Yeah,
But
you
see,
have
your
to-
and
you have
I'm
to
not
hire strategically.
See,
hiring,
with your quality is going up too. Like, it's not like your quantity is going up, your quality is staying the same. Your quality is going up
But
as
this
your
is the
quantity is
thing.
going up too, because you're learning as you're doing more quantity.
but this is the thing. Right now, out of 25 applicants, I'll probably hire one because of quality.
okay.
Now, if I switch to the quantity, out of the 25 and I hire 9, 10, quality's not
Yeah,
gonna
but
be
you
there.
don't know how well they are once they're actually working.
Yeah, and,
maybe
like-
maybe in the like hiring process they're like mid, but like when they actually start working, they're like.
Bro, also the interview process is such a short period of time to try to get to know
Yeah,
someone.
100%.
Like, you can, if
You
I,
could do quantity
you-
and then fire them as it
yeah,
goes.
you guys have known me for years and years and years, right? You didn't know who I am the first 15 minutes that you met me.
Andrew,
It's
your
just
name-
not possible.
Yeah,
you
your
hear
name's
my name,
Andrew.
you're like, oh, he's Andrew. He looks like this. He talks like this.
Yeah.
For example, you like.
Still the same.
But
guy.
you don't think
Yeah, I
I mean, see, it's now I don't want to say, you know, this is the case with everyone, but you know, I deal with people 24/7, so there is a generally a good understanding of you know the first interaction with people
Mhm.
where I could pick up certain cues and the way they
Their
carry
aura.
themselves and what's that?
Their aura.
Their aura.
Their aura.
And
Actual brain rot. But with that 15-minute interaction, there's certain things, certain traits and characteristics I'm looking for.
Yeah.
You know, in a potential employee. Now, obviously, an interview not in all cases will identify those skills because you know there's always the nervousness that comes in and
Yeah.
you know all that. But I don't know.
So, okay, then this is my question to you. Have you gotten better at the interview process
Yes.
and understanding who you want the more you've done it?
I believe so.
So it's the exact same thing. And this is also another thing. I think businesses like yours have to sort of be ready to let people go. Like, if you mess up in this business, you're gone. It's very unfortunate, but you just can't mess up.
I
You're
can't, yeah.
you're ruining client relationship, right? And that's just what it is. And the more you do it, again, the more they do it, the better obviously they get at their job. And the more you do the interview process, the better you get at hiring people who you know are going to be good for the job. So I still think the quantity thing applies, but you have to sort of get really good at delegating and putting special people, like people who are just better than like your workers. Some of your workers are obviously at a higher level, and you would consider putting them at, as for example, a manager role or just managing one location than your other
Mhm.
workers. And it's just being a good delegator is, I think, what's really important
I think
more
so.
than just hiring the right people. Because if people just stay at like a base level, then they're all doing the same job. You have to sort of give your employee that opportunity to prove themselves at the higher level. Like, it just is
Not
what it
just
is.
that, it's your job to train your employees. Like even like hire as much as you can, in my opinion, and train all of them. Because again, we went back to the business topic. We're not all born loving business or being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So if you could train someone to be an entrepreneur, you could train someone how to handle a kid, bro.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
could train someone how to like
Had to
train
do their
someone else
job
as well.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
agree.
if someone's not training someone well, if one of your workers isn't doing what you want to do, it's not their fault. It's your fault for not communicating as well as you could be.
That's
No,
bro,
that's
I
it's
think that's a
100%
50-50.
correlated.
bro, that's 50-50
100%
because
correlated.
No, because what if again there is that portion where I do
It's like a
agree with where
relationship. it's
maybe
communication.
my method of teaching is not correct and they're not fully understanding you know what I'm trying to the point I'm trying to get across, but there's that point where maybe they just don't have that interest in that heart to actually do their job.
Maybe they had a little bit, but not like as much as enough to be a good teacher in what they're supposed to do.
So yeah, I think going back to the delegating, I think that's a big
Just like sorry to cut you off, but like just like in a relationship, you're saying relationship, but there's always gonna be the case. No matter how much you can communicate, if someone doesn't love you and is not willing to put in the
Okay,
like
you fire 'em.
do it,
yeah, that's
Yeah.
Done.
yeah, it's got to be
You
fast.
hire quantity and then you slowly
You
cut down onto
it's like
quality.
qualifying.
Yeah.
I
in a
think it's
sense.
both quantity. You hire quantity, you fire quantity, and the ones that are left are the quality.
And they
Because
become
it's like
manager.
That
deeper. It's like
whoa, say that again.
Yeah, you.
That was fire.
You like
Glaze
it?
him a
That
little more,
was
dog.
fire.
Glaze him
No,
more.
yeah.
No,
So, you want me to say it again?
You got it, man.
no,
dog.
nah, don't say it again.
Not
Too
that.
late, too
Next
late.
topic.
Too late.
Next
Too
I
topic.
late.
don't
Oh,
want to
God.
glaze. No, I mean, well, this all kind of just goes back to work. You just gotta work and work and work
Dog,
until
Nike,
you learn.
just do it.
Just do
Yeah,
it.
just
do
do
it,
it.
dog.
Yeah.
Back to the dumb
take
versus
that-
smart person. Listen, if you overthink about a certain topic for like a
All
couple
right, why are you
days before
talking
you
in
do it,
TikTok voice?
Yeah, bro. I was like, all right.
If you think about
the
this,
small
then you.
no, listen, that if you overthink a topic so much to where you just don't even start it, there's no point to even.
Oh
do
yeah.
it.
You're wasting
So
time.
just
I think
literally
we've
go
all
straight into
fallen a
it.
victim of.
Go
Of
straight into
course,
it.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
If you have the thought, go straight into it. Listen, I think of it as like drops, okay? So you know how like in crypto, like people just do drops and stuff into like your crypto wallet and you get like crypto magically, like they just dropped. Or like it just random Easter eggs drop on like a game. Yeah, same thing with thoughts. God drops random thoughts into your head on purpose, no matter how random or like strategic it is. No matter how random it is, he drops the thought into your head for a reason. And if you have to act on that thought, not just sit there and think and dwell like, oh, should I do it? Should I
Yeah.
not? What if this happens? Dog, just do it.
It's
bro.
just opportunity knocking. Like
yeah.
you never know if the opportunity that like you saw is gonna end up good or bad unless you do it.
Yeah.
Like when, for example, you see a person who you think is doing something really cool, you want to really learn about the field, and I'm making a whole scenario up. You guys are at, for example, some sort of like ceremony, wedding, whatever it is, like an area where a lot of people are socializing, right? And you see someone, you know them from somewhere, and you know that they do something great, and you would love to learn from them. If you think, oh, should I ask that guy about this? Is this the place? Blah, blah, blah. You're
Yeah.
losing on that opportunity. Who knows? Maybe in another reality where you went up to that guy, you guys, just connected really good. And in a couple of years, you guys are working on a business together,
Yeah,
and you
100%.
have
Yeah,
that guy
yeah.
as a partner. It's just opportunity
It
will
can
knock on
change
your
your
door.
life, yeah.
Yeah, it'll knock on your door.
It could or it couldn't.
Yeah,
It's just
it
if
could
you
or
never
couldn't.
took it,
You
then
never
it never
know.
changed your life.
Like,
You guaranteed.
kind of like on the topic, but off topic. For example,
Yeah.
like like just thinking something and just going to do it. Like
Yeah.
I was at my grandpa's funeral like yesterday,
Hmm.
and
Yeah, may you rest in peace.
thank you,
Rest in
bro.
peace.
Yeah,
Rest in peace.
It was so out of nowhere, but
yeah.
the priest, he's talking to on stage in front of everyone. There's like 100 people just watching. There's 100 people at the funeral there, listening to the priest talk, and no one from my family was on stage talking. Like I felt like no one was representing my grandpa.
Mm.
Like it was some random dude, like random priest. We don't know. He doesn't know my grandpa like I do.
Yeah, it's his job.
And I'm his first niece, right? Niece is the word.
Nephew.
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 No, what's the word?
Grandson.
I'm actually
Oh
dog. It's like 1 a.m. almost.
Ah,
Nah,
you
I
guys
swear
heard it.
bro's clip
You guys
for
heard it.
me.
He called himself
Okay,
a niece.
listen. I'm his first grandson. Okay, and yeah, so it's my responsibility to like go do something. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I just walked up on stage, started talking,
Yeah.
and again, no one knew I was gonna do that, and I never said it. I never like planned it. Hopped on stage, talked for like 5 minutes, said a couple words, and like the thought I had is if I don't go now, I'm gonna regret it.
Oh yeah.
Same exact thing with opportunity. Like opportunity knocks. Like I'm only gonna be at my grandpa's funeral once in my life. Might as well do it. And the opportunity can knock at any time. Complete off topic from business, but kind of
Yeah.
relates.
No, I mean, bro, business is very similar to just life. Like you're making
You gotta take the
decisions in life every single day, and it's the same thing with business.
Like the
It's-
same rules, the same
yeah.
like philosophy, same like
Yeah.
mindset. I guess
Yeah.
not mindset, but just the same concepts about like how you should think and how you should approach it are kind of
Yeah.
applied towards literally every part of like life, whatever you do, not just business and life, just like literally everything.
Yeah,
Like, you'll
like-
see like some pieces of advice like correlate to other fields of like parts of life as well.
No, like in life, when an opportunity knocks on your door, okay, hey, it's impulsive. Let's go snowboard. Let's go ski. You take the opportunity. Same
Yep.
thing in business.
Yeah.
Now going back to what you said about God knocking on your door. Do you guys? What's your relationship with God and being able to just kind of connect with Him at that level? And do you agree with the closer you get to God, the more opportunity He gives you?
100%. Listen, when opportunity like knocked at my door, I was not close with God at all. I was actually atheist, by the way. Like I literally did not
I
believe in
remember that.
God.
I
yeah,
remember
I not atheist, but I was agnostic. Like I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
once
there's a higher power. But
yeah, once I see proof, I'll understand it.
I
But
remember.
I started to believe in God once I got success, which is completely the opposite of like what regular people do. Regular people like, oh, like strategy strikes, someone dies in the family, something crazy happens, and they're like, God, please, like save me, blah blah, blah, stuff like that. I'm like, okay, I don't want it to get to that point to go to God. I want to thank Him when I'm successful, appreciate Him while I'm gaining the success, so He rewards me more after. And ever since I started talking to God, I started thanking Him for everything.
Do you pray?
It's skyrocket every night. Well, that's a lie. Almost every night.
Mm.
Sometimes I'm like, just like so sleepy, I just like knock out. But yeah, I try to. I talk to Him every day though.
Now, when I think of God, I mean, I kind of disagree with one thing you said, as
What?
far as, if I thank Him and I do good, He'll reward me. I don't think you should kind of.
He won't just spawn like money in front of me.
Well,
Obviously,
no, but I don't think you should base your relationship with God based on the rewards He's gonna give you.
Oh yeah.
Because at that point, I think you're living for your benefit, and I don't think that relationship with God. Now, I don't want to get too religious. It
That's a
should
good
be a
point.
very mutual, especially
Yeah.
the giving thanks. I think that's what your
no,
relationship.
you
with-
have to be thankful always.
Yeah, and
But it's
If
and
you're
not like,
if
oh,
you're not
you're
thankful,
thankful,
you won't
he's
live a
gonna
happy
because
life.
look, God. I mean, again, I was never religious like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always believed in God. I knew there was a God. Like I've had several instances in my life in the past where I know God is a thing, and God is real. But I never kind of took that step to become closer until like before. I think it was like a month ago or like 2-3 months ago, where I was like, you know what? Let me start thanking God for the smallest things in my life. You
Yeah.
know, the weather, the
100%.
small opportunities.
I
you
noticed
guys,
it too.
you-
I noticed
sense,
it. I
like
noticed it.
sense
I
snaps.
noticed
I'm
it.
like, it's a beautiful day today.
I
It's-
noticed it.
like go out, and that's when I actually kind of starting my life taking a turn until Ors, you posted something about,
Wait, I'm gonna interrupt you. You got dramatically happier as a person, didn't you?
I did.
Yep.
This is what I was kind of leading into until 2.5 weeks ago, where you started posting about, you posted a video about God saying that, when
He
you
took
pray
his
when you pray
happiness
for
away.
discipline, you see temptations. Where it was a video about that. I don't know if you
Yeah,
remember
like you
posting
pray for
about that.
patience, and you see like you pray for like wisdom, and you see hardship coming your way. You pray for like discipline, and you keep seeing like new stuff popping up in your way, and like distractions and whatnot. And you pray like a bunch of stuff. Like whatever you pray for, like the opposite of that comes your
That
way.
actually happens to me,
And it's
bro.
like
Yeah.
whatever you pray for, whatever you want for, it's like God like testing you with the hard stuff to build that kind of almost like a skill,
Bro,
but I don't know what you
want
should
a
call it.
war-
But
if you
build
want to
that
build the
aspect in your
army, you
brain.
want the army to have experience fighting and training to actually like defend your clan. You don't want to just throw some random
well,
people.
it's like if you want to
out
build
there
like
to
a
fight for
if you
you.
want to build like a
Exactly.
tough, mentally tough
100%.
person,
He's
physically tough
training us.
person, what are you gonna put him through? You're not gonna give him an easy like
100%.
jolly life. Oh, let me just walk doing nothing. You're gonna put him through stress. You're gonna put him
100%.
through hard physical work. You're gonna put him through mental like fatigue, mental stress, and pressure them as much as you can to the point where because that's what leads to someone who's a tough, mentally strong person.
Yeah.
Mentally can handle stress, can handle mental and physical stress, and overall just
Yeah.
a very tough, well-rounded person.
But for example, I was praying and I was like, okay, look, I am so time crunched right now. I need to build a better time schedule. I need to go to the gym at least once a day. I need to do all my mentorship calls. I need to like hop on call every morning and do this. I got to a point where I wasn't doing like half of that. Like I couldn't even like go through all my mentees and teach them every single day. I couldn't go gym every day because I was so like jam packed with like side quests or like like a lot of people booked calls for one day. And I was praying like, look, please like guide me in a way where I could actually like organize my time better. And it kept getting harder and harder and harder to organize my time.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah,
I completely agree with that.
Okay, go ahead. I
Yeah.
have some
So
after.
what I wanted to also talk about is I've built my relationship with God a little bit earlier in my life because it's just even as a kid it happened. There was times where, and I've like gotten
Yeah.
deeper with you guys about this as well, where there was moments in my life where it's not possible for things to just be coincidences like back to back to back to back,
100%.
right? And that's my evidence for God. I feel God, and the thing is, like this is like I guess I don't want to call it weird, but it's something very interesting. Even if I'm like been up for 20 hours, right? And I go to bed, and if I forgot to pray, something just
Is
I can't
missing.
sleep. I can't fall asleep. It's
Mm.
so
It's a habit now.
it is a habit, I
Yeah.
guess, but it's very interesting. Also, I've changed the way I talk to God. Again, obviously, I don't know if it's completely right
Because
or
you
not.
do it your way.
Yeah, you do it your
know?
way. But for me, I've been just asking God, thank you for everything, and just do what you know is right, because He
Yeah.
knows better than me,
Right.
right? He knows better than me. I might want something,
Yeah.
but maybe that's not the right thing for me. And like we always talk about the Chinese farmer, the maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
So I leave that in His hands, and like I literally let Him know. I'm like, listen, I'm gonna try my hardest for what I want. And if you think this is what I'm supposed to have, if this is, what is in it for me, this is what I'm supposed to do, then put the steps in front of me, and I will take those steps. And that's another thing. God will not just, like you said, He won't spawn things for you. He'll give you the route, but you
Yeah,
have to walk
100%.
that route, right?
100%.
So
It's like
A-
that.
and
It's like
that's
that
just very
quote,
important.
grind like it depends on you, and pray. I think it's pray or trust in God like it depends on Him.
Now, the reason I brought that up is it kind of correlates to what you two kind of said.
yeah,
How when you said you prayed for more time or whatever, and it just got harder,
Yeah.
and when you said you know the path that God has set for you and the journey He has set for you, I was like, okay, if I just pray for God, he'll give it to me. And then I actually met some person in the gym who told me, he's like, pray for God about putting you on the journey that He has for you, because I believe everyone in this world has like destiny. So I started doing that, and obviously give thanks. And then I was like, listen, God, my G,
The big G.
I know you have a path for me. I know you have a destiny for me, and a level of life you want me to reach. So make me go through the challenges that it's gonna take me
That's
to,
so scary to do.
dude.
That's so
and
scary.
and this is literally what kind of like the past 2 weeks, when I said you've been a happier person. Mentally, the past 2 weeks have been a shit show. It's like when my family even kind of noticed it, where they were like, Devin, like, what the hell is going on? And it's just kind of like the topic where I brought up about the delegating, about the growth that
Mm.
all of a sudden there's just this explosion in growth in my business. And there's certain steps I need to take, and mentally it's like it's hard for me to like, take those steps, and the temptations I'm having, and
You got what you asked for.
that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I got what I asked for, but I know this is the
He's
path
like,
that He has for me, and
Exactly, yeah.
eventually at the end it'll be worth it.
Also, the
Because
same shit
It's
with
like He
me.
knows this is what you have to go through to get to that point that
yeah,
you're
literally
praying
my
for.
I have to
wallpaper
go-
says my wallpaper says
Yeah.
when the time is right, I the Lord will make it happen.
Yeah.
And that is literally what I put my trust in. And
Yeah, same thing. Like I kind of did what you did. Was like, oh, bro, just take control.
Take control.
Do whatever.
that's it.
And at the same time, I was like, please, like, make me time manage a little better. So I think like me not being able to manage my time is building like my skill of managing time more. And I'm
Yeah.
slowly starting to do it. And also, it put in steps in my business to where like, okay, I could delegate my time out. So instead of like me doing mentorship calls like 5 days a week, I'm only doing 2 days a week now, because I delegated my time way better, and I hired a team to also do calls for me, stuff like that.
Mm.
So again, like I'm like, yo, take the path, and it just came to me.
Yeah,
Like the same way
it's
with
crazy, isn't it?
the same way with your business, right? You're like, bro, everything just started piling up. It's because you asked for it and you literally
And
got
Yeah.
it.
You
It's
ask
like
for
you
it,
want-
shall
delegate.
receive.
Delegating is
Like
key.
you wanted time management. Your time was like okay, like not okay, as in you were pretty busy. But then when you pray for time management, shit got a lot harder. Like you had literally
Yeah.
no time. It
Yeah.
got worse and worse and worse to the point where like. Also, there's another good quote I like to mention is the people only change when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change. So
Gotta
Mic
let,
drop.
all that
let,
down.
let
yeah,
that
yeah.
hit for a second.
My brain
Yeah,
can't
that-
So,
comprehend
I've heard
No,
that.
that's
people
great.
people
crazy.
only change when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain
Pain
of
of
actually
change.
changing. So when it's more difficult, more mentally frustrating to stay in the same position than it is to actually change, then that's when you start to change. Okay?
That
So-
is a crazy.
That's a really good way
Guys, I
to
want to
end
say
it.
one thing at the
Okay.
end as well.
Then
Just,
finish.
just no,
Nah,
like
that's crazy.
no,
Bro,
this
try to
is-
cut him off.
No, this is about time as well. You guys were talking about.
crazy.
I've been waiting to say this.
Yeah, go for it.
So I think the only guy that's still in university.
I'm still in
You
Well,
are.
I'm
Yeah.
technically
You dropped
supposed
out,
to be
dog.
in.
Well,
but yeah,
Locktober,
well,
but lock spring.
So basically, guys, I'm taking 16 units,
Yeah.
and I'm still, running my business on the side. And this is also something I've been talking to God about, which is funny that you brought it up. I never knew that that's like managing your time is something that you've been really like wanting to,
So
talk
hard.
about. But I have noticed that I literally am able to do the exact same things that I was doing during like the month and a half break that I had,
Yeah.
and now I have 16 units.
Which is
So-
a lot
so-
for those you don't know.
Yeah, so literally like what's came in my head, I'm like, bro, I really thought about it. I am probably working at 40 to
Yeah.
max 50% efficiency. So you have time. Like
100%.
not having time is complete bullshit. You have time. Lock in.
I have
For anyone
20 I have
listening, like
20
literally,
And-
it's
and
not
that
just
goes
us,
back-
anyone
and that
listening.
goes back-
Actually lock in.
And that exactly lock
Yeah.
in, because that kind of literally just puts it into perspective of what you think is 100% is realistically
Oh,
like
It's
30,
like 20%.
30, 40, 20%.
Exactly, 100%.
You working
Same thing in the
100% is
gym.
like if it's you are doing it or dying. That's like when you'll be 100%.
Yeah, I think I heard this quote. Before I say the quote, it's literally in the gym. Your mind gives up 70% before your body does.
I've heard 40, which is
40?
crazier. I don't know. That's what
I've heard. Yeah, I've heard like
But-
30-40% is when what you push to, and if it's like do or die, then it'll go like
But
70,
the,
80.
the quote I
90.
heard was going back to the what was the conversation we were having?
You
Look,
said
just
you were
always
talking about quotes. You told me to like
Time
explain
management?
about. You're talking about the gym. Pain
No,
of change is the
but-
same. Pain
Okay,
of
listen.
change.
Okay, we're gonna wrap it up real quick. Look, moral of the story: try as hard as you can. Take risks. Don't be scared to take risks, and always compare yourself to future you, because future you is working at like 150%, while you right now are working at 20%. So always look at you in the future as
chase
the role
that.
model, and just chase the perfect version of you. You're not gonna get there. You're never gonna get there. Just letting you
Yeah.
know, you're never gonna get there, because as you get to your old future self, so right now you have a vision of your future self, you're gonna get there one day. But once you're there, you're gonna have a whole new version of that future self, and you keep chasing and chasing and chasing, and that's the only way to
But hold on,
success.
before you end it off,
What?
I know this is we keep going back, but
1 a.m.
I know it is. But this is like, I mean, when you say that, and you have to try to find purpose, and it should be that take the time to actually reflect where you have come from,
Yeah.
and what you've
100%,
accomplished.
yeah.
Because once
That comes
what
being
you
thankful.
where you are is once what you prayed for.
100%.
100%.
So
Facts.
that was another like wake up call for me. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, 100%.
So even though you are chasing, whatever goal you want to
Yeah.
hit, and
It's like the thing you say: sit back and just smell the roses. Realize how
Yeah,
far you've
yeah.
came, and like you're at a position where you once wished you were in,
And
and
last thing,
dreamed or like prayed to.
last thing I want to say to end it off is, don't try to look so far into the future. Just try to get better
Every
1% a day.
Like do what
2%
you
a
can
day.
do today.
1%
Like,
a
what's
day
the
is
next thing you know you can do?
365% a year.
Yeah. So if you can,
word.
if you're proud of
Math.
yourself when you go to bed, you had an amazing day. And
Yeah.
that's honestly what I've been trying to go off of the past 6-7 months. This is like it came into my mindset is I'm not worried about what I'm gonna do in the next 2 months. Am I proud of myself today? Kind of, I don't know about proud, but did I do what I was supposed to do today and more? And if I did, then that was just a great day. And yeah, I'm done, boys. I don't know if you guys have anything to say,
Yeah.
but
We'll wrap it up there.
WS podcast, dog. Hey,
W.
WS
Hey,
podcast.
yo!
That was a fire ass podcast, dog. Anyway, WS podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast.
see you guys.
It's
Love you
1
guys.
a.m. We're gonna head out. Hey, as you said, we're all gonna be proud of ourselves once we get home, dog. I am proud of myself today because this shit took so long to set up.
Oh, yeah.
Get to work.
Love you guys.
Sacrifices,
Keep the
guys.
hustle up.
Every
We're
Wednesday.
out.
Every Wednesday.
Bye, boys. Every
Lock in.
Wednesday, lock in.
Let's get it.